All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It's been a tough go of things for the Miami Heat since the Jimmy Butler trade, and there's no nice way to say it, all right? Since Butler was traded to the Golden State Warriors last month, the Miami Heat are just 4-17, which includes them losing their last 10. Now, Miami is currently holding on to that final spot for the play-in tournament as they are simply sliding in the standings in the Eastern Conference. So the Heat are going to now have just their second losing season in their last 10. They've already got 41 losses on the season. They're not winning the rest of the games the rest of the way, okay? And there are some who are wondering if the Heat culture that was instilled by former head coach and current team president Pat Riley is outdated and a thing of the past. You look at it and you think about it over the years, and most recently, in about like the past decade or so, the standoff between Riley and Butler that led to Jimmy getting traded to the Warriors last month, and things you look at it, things have gone so right for Butler so far since he went to Golden State, and Miami, of course, finds themselves in a funk. The Butler trade, of course, the first big shocker was LeBron James leaving town in 2014 to go back to Cleveland. People thought that, when LeBron was there, he was going to stay there. Clearly, that was not the case. And what was even more shocking about the LeBron than the LeBron news was, when Dwayne Wade ended up leaving town, played for the Bulls and the Cavs before he found his way back to South Beach to finish his career, which he rightfully should have finished his career. He really shouldn't have left, but nonetheless, you've got when it's all said and done, you've got the old school Pat Riley against the new school NBA players. And you think about it, everybody that I've mentioned involved, they got a lot of egos and they want things done a certain way. You think about the old school Riley. He is as old school as they come, okay? Because you're talking about a guy who comes in with the mind, he has a certain mindset for basketball. And the reason why I say it is we're talking about somebody who played collegiately for Adolph Rupp at Kentucky, okay? One of the greatest coaches in college basketball history. Pat Riley also went on to win an NBA championship as a player for the Los Angeles Lakers under then Hall of Fame coach Bill Sharman. And then Riley went on to win four more NBA championships as the head coach of the Lakers in 1980 and during the 1980s, excuse me. And, for all of the flash that's associated with Riley, and that's really due to the Armani suits, the slick hair, the Gucci shoes, you name it, a lot of people maybe either don't know or just forgot about it, but Pat Riley during his playing career was a hard-nosed defender. And you think about every stop along the way for Riley's coaching career, whether it was with the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Heat, he has always preached toughness, defense, and hard work throughout his coaching career. And that is what Pat Riley instilled from day one when he came to Miami in 1995. And of course, an extension of that is through the current Heat coach, Eric Spolstra. Now, I've talked about this before, okay? And that is Pat Riley, love him or hate him, agree with him or not, he's not going to give in to superstar players. He's not going to give them preferential treatment. That's the way he was. That's the way he is. And clearly I can't speak for Pat Riley. I don't know the man personally, but if you look at it from an outsider perspective, you look at it like this. Pat Riley coached Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar very hard. Okay, he didn't give them preferential treatment, and he probably feels like, hey, if I didn't do it for them, I'm not going to do it for you. Okay, that's just an outsider's perspective on it. But again, we're talking about the game of basketball from 40 years ago. A lot has changed since then, and you just have to wonder if Riley's message is not going to get across to the current superstars of the NBA. And I say this because most of the guys in the league right now, they could say whatever they want, but they don't want to be coached. These guys want to be coddled and they want to be told how good they are all of the time. And, we saw the divide play out between Pat Riley and Jimmy. And it really started, following the end of the season last year. We saw the Heat get bounced out early in the NBA playoffs. Of course, Jimmy Butler's comments after the Boston Celtics won the NBA championship, and of course, Pat Riley took offense to that. And he said what he said publicly. And from that point, it was the beginning of the end for Jimmy Butler. We saw the suspensions, you name it. But nonetheless, it takes a certain person to play in Miami. And I say this because when you think about it, you've got the Miami backdrop, you've got the South Beach backdrop, the party life, the club life, you name it. But free agents around the NBA are not exactly, sprinting to get down to South Beach to play for the Heat, and a lot of that is the Heat culture because at the end of the day, it's not meant for everybody. You've heard from players that have played for Pat Riley, before. It's hard. He coaches you hard. The practices are hard. Everybody doesn't want to go through that, but at the end of the day, winning is hard. Okay. And it's like some people can say they're committed to winning until, they have to take those necessary steps to get it done. But at the end of the day, you look at Jimmy Butler's time with Miami, and of course, it somewhat is going to come full circle this week because the Heat are going to host Jimmy Butler and the Warriors this Tuesday night. It's going to be very interesting to see what type of reception that Jimmy Butler gets from the folks in South Florida upon his return because clearly the end was not great. And at the end of the day, very rarely is the end great. But you look at what Jimmy helped the Heat achieve in a 4-year stretch. Miami was in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times, okay, and 2 times they got to the finals. They just got to the finals 2 years ago, and of course, a lot of that, can be attributed to playoff Jimmy because playoff Jimmy is a different guy, and of course, he plays that defense. He clamps down on the other team's best perimeter player, and like I said when Jimmy Butler helped the Heat, get to the NBA Finals a couple of years ago, basically he took people's lunch money in the playoffs, and that's what he did. He did it with Giannis and the Bucks, the Knicks, and of course the Boston Celtics. But nonetheless, Miami was able to do this, with basically primarily not having another star player to go along with Jimmy Butler, and of course, it ultimately caught up to them both times around in the NBA Finals in 2020 when they lost to the Lakers, when they had Anthony Davis and LeBron, and then of course in 2023 when they lost to the Denver Nuggets because, face it, they had nobody to go out there and stop Nikola Jokic. So some people are throwing out the question, or some people are simply just flat out saying, "Is it time for Pat Riley to step aside?" And I'm going to say no. And I know some people might say, "Well, Pat Riley's too old. He doesn't get across, to the youngsters. The game has passed him by." First and foremost, Pat Riley's 80 years old. Okay, he's set in his ways. You're not going to change this man, especially when he has accomplished so much in the game of basketball. At the end of the day, we talk about the Heat culture. Pat Riley is the Heat culture. Pat Riley is the system because before Pat Riley came to Miami in 1995, we're talking about basically an expansion team, and it was an expansion team that only made the playoffs twice. An expansion team that their most wins in a season prior to Pat Riley was 42. And when you think about the Heat, with Pat Riley, he changed the culture, no pun intended, there because within a couple of years, they became legit contenders in the Eastern Conference, and it took some time. But by 2006, excuse me, they were NBA champions, and of course, they got a couple more with LeBron James. They made 4 trips to the NBA Finals when LeBron was there, and to their credit, They're the only team post LeBron to have success because they got to the NBA Finals twice after LeBron left, and they, for the most part, were and have been a perennial playoff team. So it's not that cut and dry to sit up there and say, "Hey, you know what? Pat Riley needs to step aside," especially when we're talking about a guy who has a minority stake in the Miami Heat. It simply ain't going to work like that. Okay, but nonetheless, that Heat culture is embodied through that organization because before becoming the head coach of the Heat, Eric Spoelstra was an assistant coach under Pat Riley, and again, it's embodied in him. You think about when LeBron got there, him and Eric Spoelstra at first were not seeing eye to eye. LeBron basically wanted Pat Riley to move on from Eric Spoelstra, and Pat Riley put his feet down and said, "Absolutely not." So nonetheless, it's a culture that is based on hard work, and it's something that simply is not for everybody. Miami has some guys right now, but they simply need a guy, a star player, to bring it all together. You got a solid player in Bam Adebayo for the post. You've got Tyler Harrow. Okay, Andrew Wiggins was a part of that Jimmy Butler deal as well. But Miami needs a guy in the middle of things to go out there and make it come full circle. Excuse me. But again, still superstar players are not lining up to go to South Beach. But at the end of the day, I think what Miami has to do right now, they've got to try to find a way to weather this storm. They've got 12 games left in their regular season. They got a 5 game lead, excuse me, over the Toronto Raptors for that final play-in spot. So I think if Miami can find a way to get the ship righted somewhat, they'll at the very least get to the play-in tournament, and anything from there can happen. Because you look at the teams that are more than likely going to the play-in: Atlanta, Orlando, Chicago, and of course possibly Miami. Anything can happen in a one-game winner-take-all scenario. So the Heat got to go out there and bring their A game and possibly get to the playoffs. Eric Spoelstra, I don't think he gets enough credit for being a solid head coach, but he is. At the end of the day, like I said, I don't think Pat Riley is leaving anytime soon. I think Pat Riley leaves when he wants to leave. Okay, nobody's going to force him out of the door. That's just my personal opinion. But with the when it's all said and done, there is, an age gap, of course, and there's a divide between Riley's style and the style of the current players in the NBA. Will it be enough to get people to commit to the Heat culture going forward? Only time will tell. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And I want to take this time out to tell all of you, if you liked what you heard and saw in this podcast, please feel free to hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, and I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.